Hello there, and welcome to this important tutorial on whiteboxing and pretty much the basics of level design. So today um, we are going to be creating um, a few series of small basic white box levels, um, just very short and simple. So this would just be kind of like a short and simple tutorial, just so that you guys could cover the basics of level design. Now, when we're making a level or an actual environment or diorama, we still go through the same process of making a level. We kind of make it like as if we are rapidly prototyping a level. Like, say, for example, so what I'm looking at on Google right now are several like floor plans. Like, I know they're kind of rough and all, but it kind of gives you a good idea of where to go by. Kind of gives you also ideas on where to make your assets and where to plan them. Like, say we got this harbor, this small little harbor. This area could be kind of like an open door warehouse. We got the little oil tanker right here and the important areas like the drawbridge. We got the little semi um, loading bay area with all the cargo containers, the oil the oil containers as well, right over here. And then we also have kind of like a spawning area as well. So if you plan this out like it's a first-person shooter, then that's where it would be. Also planning out elements on where your game would be as well. And also a few Counter-Strike things, and then here's also a good example of like on how to do like apartments and all, so it really gives you a good idea on where to go by. But we'll cover more on whiteboxing this week for sure. So, and if you don't know where that site is, I'll also include this. So if you guys are in my class that I'm teaching on Saturdays, I'll definitely give you this website. Um, the World of Level Design. It's a really good site to go to. A whole list not only just gives you a good list of tutorials, but also helps you to improve to be a better level artist. I mean, helps you to be a better environment artist. And also, for a little bit of inspiration as well, I'll also show you kind of like a few websites as well, like from artists that worked on um, The Witcher 3. So if you haven't played this game, I suggest you go and get it immediately. Um, well, if you have the spare time. If you already have this game, like, look around at the iconic interior locations, like caves and all that, and also the houses, too. It's a really well done game, and if you want inspiration on like on what assets or what ideas you want to work on, then this is definitely one of those games that I would highly recommend in doing a little bit of research on. So let's go to Max. I also made kind of like a rough example as well. So this will be a little bit more complete by the time we're done with this. Kind of gives us an idea. But we're definitely going to create like something simple today. So I think what will really help you guys out a lot. There we go. So you can get this guy online on the I've just basically Googled I basically searched this guy up on Google um, on UE on Unreal Engine 4 character height reference. So we're gonna definitely use him because he's the ideal height for what our static meshes on how tall our static meshes should be. So, for example, um, like picture yourself in those environments, and you are that character height in that game engine. So, if you have it perfectly scaled as you would see it in real life, then it'll help you all the way. It'll help you fix any scaling issues regardless. But as long as you properly scale them, then it would be good. Sorry. I'm just kind of recording this at 6 in the morning, so forgive me if I'm kind of like trying to get my thoughts together. So anyways, there's also another site that you could also go and see for tutorials on like Substance Painter and Designer, but I don't think, for those who are in my class, I don't think that it'll be there on the computers at the school. So, sorry. It might be there, I don't know. If they do decide to update, that is. Alright, so let's get started. Enough of the chit chat. Let's get started. So I'm gonna move Mr. Top. What the? I'll just put them right over there. Alright. And I'm gonna turn grid off. So I'm gonna make a plane first. So it doesn't matter how big it's gonna be. Just kind of like It'll help us as our base. I think about around 2,000 would be good for length and width. I'm actually going to make this just in case. 3,000 by 3,000. And I'll just drop the length and height segments because we don't need them as much because we're doing like level design. Alright. And then I'll just bring up some boxes. So we'll kind of see on the side like where our mesh would pop up. So when we start working on this. So I'm going to create like a simple wall about that tall. And the best way to look at this is on the front view. So if you are doing this by Unreal Engine units, we have to go into his measuring, and generally by default he is 192 max units, and generally that's the same for 3ds Max. Because he is twice as big as the character height for UDK. If you did work with UDK in the past, he's generally twice as big now for Unreal Engine 4. So joy. It's a lot of work for, well, it's not a lot of work, but it is a bit if you're trying to it's not a lot of work, in short. You just gotta scale it into the right dimensions and all, and the right and use the right measurements. Alright. And then I'm going to collapse it as an editable poly. And then I'm just going to bring this down. Well, not to the point where I cover this whole damn room, but you get what I mean. And let's just say we wanted to create like a wall in between them. So let's say just for fun, like, I'm just going to bring these radiuses up right over there. So let's just create like 2 walls in short. So I'm going to alt shift, I'm going to clone by elements, and I'm going to rotate this guy by 90 degrees. And then we look at this in perspective. Now, ideally, you don't want to work in perspective, that I mentioned a couple of times, but this also helps us if we use it in a different view. so you can get a good idea. So I'm going to do Alt D, and I'm going to put on snaps, or and normally you would have to delete polygons, um, but I'll show you. So pretty much this is our simple wall that we have here. And then for this demonstration, I'll just move this guy to the center. I don't need snaps to be on, so I'm just going to bring this back a bit. And the geometry is generally clean if you just want to know, but we're not doing any edits on the geometry. Just basically minor things, just pushing vertices around and etc. Really, we're not doing a lot of work. And then just for this fun activity, I'm just going to detach them as separate objects so no one gets confused. So if I wanted to show, like, there's a wall into another room, I can as well. So what I can do is I can bring around this selection by selecting this edge and then holding shift on the next. And then I can do is either connect or control shift E. But oh yeah, that's right. I can't do anything because with this because Max wants to give me issues. Max will sometimes give me issues with this. Connect. There we go. Connect with demo. Control Shift E. There we go. And that's how you fix your keyboard shortcut issue. So then after that, I've selected the edgelet, and then I'm just going to create this wall. And if I wanted to create like a door frame or whatever, I'll just select these two edges. I mean, my mistake, these two faces. I'm going to insert, press delete, and my mistake, border, and press bridge. And then I could fix these. And I can fix these vertices. I just bring the actual door frame down. Now I could also do the same thing with this guy as well. I could also um, adjust my vertices as well around this area, and then just bring this down if I want to. Left Z. So I'm gonna scale this down a bit. Yeah, there we go. Ugh. Time to stretch my head a bit. Alright, I'm gonna call this floor, and I'm gonna face this guy. There we go. So back to our man right here. So we're gonna need a few. So what I just did was I kind of, as I said before, just made this little door frame. And then we can also scale it as well. So it actually becomes an actual door frame. So probably about around there. Okay, so that's perfect. So we got a simple door frame. So we got a simple little door frame for a guy to go in and back. So let's make some quick little rough out props. So it could really be anything really. So let's just say like we can make like a bar table and just put it like right here. And I'll just lift this up a bit. And then convert it into a poly. And then go Control Shift D. And then I can chamfer these edges. And then do the same thing around here. Do the same thing. Next. Go to isolation mode. Or failing that, or this could be kind of like a dining room table. Bring this down a bit. So I'm going to call this table. So if you were kind of like making kind of like a military base or whatever, and this would be the CC, this would kind of like be like your, like the base mesh, like the simple white box block out of your war room table. So generally over time, we're just making like basic shapes for our white box environments. And then over time, it'll just look like a loony bin house. And then, actually, my mistake, actually over time, it'll actually look like something that came out of a toy box, really. Put this into the poly. Let's see, small extrusion. Good. And then I'll just put on Alt X. I'll make this mesh transparent, and then I'll just free selection. So let's just say this is our roof. Or better yet, I have an idea. Mesh. I'm going to turn off Alt X on, and then apply one of these gray materials. But the difference is, I'm going to drop its opacity down about like 21% or 15, so it's more transparent, and that we can see the actual bottom of this. And then after that, I'm going to free selection, or go into and turn off show frozen in gray for this object, and then free selection. Okay. And then we can make our interior walls for this environment. And then finally, just like we did before, we could also make windows. And I could also do the same thing over here. And then like I did before, I chamfered this. And then if you wanted to create like a window, we just did the same thing for like the door. It's pretty straightforward. And then we can make like several of these things. Also do the same thing again with this. I can make like the windows any size I want them to be, or I could just make them pretty simple and straightforward. And then I can do the same thing on the other side. Boom. Switch. Alt X. And boom. We have our windows. And then I'll do the same thing like over here. And then I'll just bring this back in a bit. Not too much. Do the same thing. And thus, we have our environment. Now let me go into this view, the perspective view, and turn on realistic. So already we have our good looking environment, and then if we don't touch anything, Max will do its GPU rendered shadows, and this will what will probably look like in your level. Wow, except this grainy stuff that you're seeing through the Limeworks. And then if we wave, there. So it's rendering out GPU rendered shadows. And so far, it's looking great so far. So when we come back, um, so when we come back, let me clear my throat for a sec. We will, um, we will do kind of like more on props and kind of do kind of like another example on how to do things exterior as well on also as well on exterior boxing. And just for fun, we're probably just going to merge the two elements together. So anyways, that's about it. I will catch you guys later. See ya.